Scene's come a long way over the last 25 plus years, so it's bloody unreal. And great to have hip hop gigs kind of attached to what's happening out there. It kind of brings together the writers, the MCs, because that's what it always used to be about. So without further ado, we've got heaps of crews up here tonight. Let's do this, Melbourne!
It's Melbourne City. 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 It's Melbourne City.
Melbourne hip hop is Trem, Brad Strutt, it's Bob Balance, it's Reason, it's the graffiti scene from Melbourne, it's the Skies, it's Ransom, it's the history, it's the Melbourne's like the New York of Australia, that's what people always called it. And to me, Melbourne hip hop is it's the graffiti life, the start of the hip hop scene. Because before, like the early days of having a hip hop scene were the writers who made the hip hop scene, and that's where it all came from. So, you know, those main writers like the Skies or Puzzle, whatever, they're the people that inspired what you have today. So to me, that's what Melbourne hip hop is.
Before the internet, every sort of area of the country sort of had a different sound because they couldn't cross-contaminate. They sort of developed and built around the same people. Melbourne had a particular distinct sound from the late 90s, especially through particular crews like Nuff Said and Tram and, you know, I guess the AKA brothers, dudes like Ransom, Pac D and all that. And there were particular releases that really coined certain sounds and so forth that came out, especially around the 98 sort of time. So like things like Beeswax by Bias B, Prowler's Money Walks, and one which people may not necessarily look at so heavily, but things like the Nuff Said Beats from the Vault compilations, which gave a lot of the early spotlight to artists like Pegs, Muffin, Brad Strutt, and really sort of coined what the Melbourne sound was around that 98 to early 2000 sound.
Can I get this one?
Checkmate.
I reckon Melbourne hip hop is schizophrenic, like the weather here. You know, like every artist in Melbourne on their album has like the angry song, the happy song. You know, like it's a little bit of everything. It's like a composition of everything that goes on because Melbourne is everything town. You know, it'll be like cold in the morning and then hot in the afternoon. That's the same with the hip hop scene.
Melbourne hip hop is, I use this term a lot, pocketed in different little segments, but slowly and surely, thanks to community organizations and hip hop events, you all come together, we all come together, and you know, we mash it up. So it's a crazy game, Melbourne hip hop. It's simmering, I think. It'll always thrive in its moments, but I'll always think that Melbourne hip hop is here to innovate, create, and unite, and really smash something new.
I define Melbourne hip hop as being about skills and about diversity, fat beats, having a story to tell, intelligent lyrics, that sort of thing.
I think it's pretty diverse now. I think hip hop's kind of split itself into these different sounds where you've got your radio playing, your boom back and your boom bap, and just, I don't know, like there's a lot more influences going in. That's kind of my take.
Yeah, and I agree. I think one of the beautiful things about the actual scene itself, when I think of hip hop, I don't just think of the MCs. I think of, you know, the whole spectrum of what sort of constitutes this street culture that we've enveloped and run with. And you play our music, you show our artwork, you let them listen to our raps, you look at our breakers. People from overseas just look in awe and they realise that, hey, this little back town they call Melbourne, Australia, has something that is as strong as anything else happening around the world. I think that's what brings together this sort of global sound of hip hop, Australian hip hop, worldwide hip hop. It's part of the same thing, really.
I feel the Melbourne culture is very independent. It has its own style, uniqueness.
Yes.
It has flavour of its own. At the same time, it embraces the Australian culture of hip hop. And I find that throughout the years, from the MC perspective, there's been more collaboration and more unifying between states to build the MC culture a lot stronger than it used to be. I find that let me get this straight, the skill level and the MCing level, a majority of what I've heard, is second to none worldwide as a standard. You can present that to the world and it does come off strong. You have people like even Brad Strutt, Vice, all these different ones, different flavors, Reason, that they can still be presented worldwide. They've refined their skill, and they've got it to a level where they can go out there and express and say, look, this is Melbourne. It's always been, if you can make it in Melbourne in hip hop,
Yes.
you get respect, and you can make it pretty much most places in Australia. And that's kind of like
It's quite a harsh place at times, Melbourne.
It can eat you up.
If you do come off half-assed, we'll say, people will pick that. And Melbourne's like, it's like if you're faking the funk, someone's going to say something.
You can't showboat.
Oh no.
You got to be real.
You got to come off for real, and then people got to go, yeah, you know what? He's actually about that. I don't mind that. You know what I mean? So I suppose that, to sum up Melbourne, I think
Down to earth.
down to earth.
Yeah.
Sifts through all the crap till it gets to the gold.
Yeah.
And in saying that, lifts the level to the next level.
I would say it's just lots of different styles. I mean, people move to Melbourne to do hip hop, like from all different states, all different countries. People come here from everywhere because the music's not just hip hop, but the music scene in general in Melbourne's pretty good. There's lots of different stuff. People feel that they can express themselves through hip hop in different styles, and I think that's what's cool in Melbourne. And everyone sort of has a mutual respect, whether you're doing boom bap hip hop or left of center rap or whatever. Everyone sort of respects what everyone's doing, and I think that's what sums up Melbourne hip hop. I'd say, in my view.
Personally, I know it sounds maybe a little corny, but I find that Melbourne hip hop, it's sort of difficult to define. Like any hip hop scene in the world is difficult to find. I think there's a number of different angles to the Melbourne hip hop community and how it's being represented in the community to people that aren't following it closely. You got all these areas that have sort of broken off, like the b-boys and the DJs that are doing their own thing in their scene, and obviously the MCs. I think everything is diversifying so much it's hard to sort of pin it down.
I mean, for me, Melbourne is the capital of hip hop in Australia, and I think that's why so many artists from interstate gravitate here, and perhaps artists from who come from Brisbane or Tassie or wherever it is, they're looking for something else, and I think they probably kind of find it here in terms of level of support, just even by sheer numbers of people who are into the scene, and even those people who kind of just love the music, not necessarily a hip hop artists, but actually just buy it, love it, go to gigs, buy the t-shirt, do all that.
Catch my smoke, I'm from the southern coast, I boast, I'm mad engrossed with the double H. Hip-hop's my cave, house I pave, don't hear it for a day, I crave the flavor, freedom, it feeds them, not opium for masses, underground.